time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. And now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? Showtime, Geno Jones, showtime. Bam! I'm coming to you live. Yes, live Monday through Friday. Those are my normal days, unless I tell you otherwise. New start time, well, relatively new. Maybe you had a long summer break. 7:30 now, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 6:30 Central Time. Shout out to Chicago. I see you. Stand up, Chi-Town, 312 and 773 and 708 and 847. Live in Los Angeles, Las Vegas, and everybody on the West Coast, 4:30 p.m. Tell everybody, please subscribe to the channel. There's no paywall. That means it is free. I don't charge you to subscribe, all right? Please click on the like button. Leave your comments in the comment section below. The show is interactive. What does that mean? That means you can get active, get involved. If you have a question or a comment for me, for my guests, you want to start a conversation, you can join the conversation in my chat room. As a matter of fact, I'm just taking a peek now. Jump in there. I have guests on. As a matter of fact, Thursday, another edition Thursday of Courtney's Corner. Shout out to Courtney, by the way. The Geno Jones Show brought to you by CojoLLC.com. CojoLLC.com. If you're looking to buy or sell a home here in the Carolinas, South Carolina, North Carolina, South Carolina. 843 area code 543-4022. 843 area code 543-4022. I slowed it down, but I'll give you that again. So once again, subscribe. You can screenshot some of the show, rip some of the video, make it go viral. You have my blessing. You can copy and paste the link however you want to do it. And it's so important that we support all black-owned institutions because, as I always say, it is clear now. America has basically said, Black America, we're giving you our ass to kiss. We're all we got. So y'all can go over there and clown because it's clear that we are all we got. But guess what? We are all we need. If you don't believe it, ask Target. Ask the former CEO of Target. I asked the shareholders of a company whose valuation has dropped by $12 billion, with a B, $12 billion in like 8-9 months. That means the company in value lost $12 billion because the $12 million a day that black people were spending in Target, we was like, as my grandmother taught me, Jeannie, don't ever beg nobody to take your money. So we are all we got, but we are all we need. And we got everything we need. So we're gonna come together. Yes, we are. So I'm excited. We're gonna take a visit to Courtney's Corner. You know, like hanging out on the corner back in the day. So we're about to stroll up to Courtney's Corner in a moment. I need to take just a moment. Today, September 11th, 24. Man, can you believe 24 years ago? 9/11 happened, one of the most horrible days in the history of this country. Almost 3,000 people died at the World Trade Centers, the towers that no longer exist in New York City. Then you had others that died in the Pentagon. Then you had a Flight 191 that was a hijacked flight, United Airlines. The hijackers were trying to fly that plane back into the U.S. Capitol. But some heroic Americans, very heroic Americans, gave up their life to save other Americans that they didn't even know. And that plane crashed in the rural area near some little small town, Shanksville, Pennsylvania. So I want to take time to remember and honor the life, the memory of those men and women, over 3,000 Americans that we lost 24 years ago today. So we want to honor their life, celebrate their life, and honor their legacy. We want to remember the survivors. Many family members. You have some people. As a matter of fact, I got a chance looking at TV, just scanning, not really looking because Yeah, corporate media, that's a whole nother story. There was a woman in her early, almost mid 20s. Yeah, I think mid 20s. Because if you were born, my youngest daughter was born, what, 6 weeks? 8 weeks, about 8 weeks. No, about 6 weeks after 9/11. So, yeah, some people who weren't even born then. So I want to remember the families. Want to celebrate and honor and lift up in prayer the survivors of the victims and the first responders. So it's very important that I do that. I got to shout out my Breezy fans hitting me up. Yeah, your boy Chris Brown. I know there's a lot of Chris Brown. Ladies, y'all love y'all some Chris. Now, it's more like a generational thing, but I know it like millennials, Gen Zs, like the millennial, because he's a millennial. So he got the millennials sisters on lock. He's going to be in Phoenix tonight and out in LA this weekend, Saturday and Sunday at SoFi Stadium. That's where the professional football teams, they have two in LA, the Rams and the Chargers. Actually out in Inglewood, because LA is just like a whole bunch of suburbs or many cities combined to make up one big LA area. Inglewood is near the airport, LAX airport. So some fans. When is? Don't forget to mention my man. So all right. So all the ladies that love Chris Brown, and some of y'all paying $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 for the VIP package. Hey, it's your money, and if you like it, I love it for you. All right, let me get ready to go into Courtney's Corner. So Courtney has company again. I love when she brings company because we had an awesome conversation in Courtney's Corner a couple of weeks ago. So she has brought three amazing women with her. And I'm going to let her do the full introductions, and they will tell their story. Matani Holiday, I think I got that right again. Matani Holiday, Kim Watson, and Joan Sproul. These are some incredible women, incredibly accomplished. They have been stars and superstars in the corporate world, but they are hanging out here on the Geno Jones Show inside of Courtney's Corner. Bam! There you go. You see it on your screen, ladies and gentlemen, full of black woman magic. First of all, the host of Courtney's Corner with that big, radiant, billion dollar smile, my partner, Miss, and her company, once again, thank you for being a sponsor of the Geno Jones Show. Courtney Johnson. All right, Coach Joe, how we doing?
We're doing fantastic. We're fantastic. I'm excited to have my sister circle on. You mentioned all of them, Imtani, Kim, Joanne. We're excited to be here. They love to talk, and I love to listen to them talk. And so they're excited.
She didn't say that, ladies. She said, I can show you the text. She sent me that text. She said, I hope you're ready, because they love to talk. I'm like, look, I do this 5 nights a week, so I don't mind turning over the mic.
But I had to bring them on. It's Life Insurance Awareness Month, and we've talked about how important life insurance awareness is. But I also had to bring them on because they are my sister circle, meaning I talk to them about anything and everything. And oddly, I met them all through our day jobs in life insurance. But we now all have different night jobs, different experiences, different entrepreneurship mindsets, which I love. So I had to bring them on and can't wait for them to talk and tell all about themselves and tell their story, as you always say, so they can tell their story.
So Courtney, let's do this. Because it is National Insurance Month, and that is so important. So we're going to tie that part of the conversation in, and at the end, there's something I want to address with all you women specifically, and I want to get your take. But if we can, let's all the ladies, if you want to kind of give us a Cliff Notes version of your journey. Anybody? I don't know. Is it Matani? Did I get that right, Matani?
No, Imtani.
Okay. Imtani. Imtani. Thank you. M like M to me. Imtani. Thank you. I'd rather be corrected than be wrong. So I'm real anal about people's name. Maybe because when you talk for a living, that's important. So Imtani, since I had to make sure that I got your name right, you want to just go first and kind of just give the viewers just a Cliff Notes version of your story, and then we'll just kind of go around the circle here.
Yeah, so as you said, my name is Mtani Holiday. So I have been in the sister circle for plenty of years at this point. And I worked in the insurance industry, Fortune 500 company for 28 years, and currently started my own business called Strategic Excellence LLC. In the industry, I did help various roles, mostly in risk management, process improvement, and training. So I love helping people and fixing things. And so that really has been a majority of my career. And just happy to be here today with Courtney and the rest of my circle.
Beautiful. All right, Kim, are you up next? Miss Kimberly Watson?
I guess I am. Hi, Kimberly Watson. I am vice president of the risk management department at a Fortune 500 company. I started my career years ago, not realizing that I would end up in insurance or financial services. I graduated from the #1 HBCU in the country, North Carolina A&T, so I had to plug that Aggie
Oh,
pride.
I'm not getting in that one.
You
I'm
had
gonna
to
let
plug
y'all
that.
have that.
You had to plug that.
But
I
25
got love
years.
for all the HBCUs, just for the record.
Oh,
so-
HBCU love, but the #1 is A&T. But I learned a lot. Love this sister circle. We talk about everything, and particularly financial literacy and insurance, and and building generational wealth. So, 25 years in the industry, you learn a little bit, and you love to share it with others.
Beautiful. All right, Miss Jones Spruill, you are up next, rocking that red. I like that red. Come on now.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Joanne Spruill. Been in the industry for over 20 years also. I'm a lawyer by trade, which is funny because Kim and I at some point thought we were cousins because we were both from Virginia. We're both lawyers by trade. We both went to North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University, Aggie Pride. So, and we're both in insurance, right? So when I met her, I'm like, are you my cousin? Because goodness, we've done a lot together. But
Y'all might wait, Joan. Y'all might need to go on Maury and get that
we've been trying to figure it out because we're both born in December too. So our personalities are a lot alike. It's very interesting in that. So, been through insurance, been in compliance most of my insurance career. My father was an insurance agent, so I'm what they call an insurance baby. Learned a lot about the importance of insurance in that space. I'm currently chief compliance officer at a Fortune 500 company, the same one Kim works at, and for the U.S. division, and it's been a really enlightening experience. I'm also what you might describe as a serial entrepreneur. So I have a company, HBCU Slippers and Comfort Apparel, where we sell slippers, robes, pajamas, travel bags for all HBCUs. To your point, Gina, for HBCU love. But we found that it didn't exist in the marketplace, and we just knew it was something that we needed to create, so we did. Also have a virtual spades app, the Big Joker app, which is an app that will let you actually see each other and talk junk while you play. The spades apps now don't do that, so we're still working on that in production. And then my 81-year-old mother has a farm. She's a farmer. And so
shout mom out. What's mom's name? Shout her out.
Mom is Cheryl Austin. We call her Mama Cheryl. But she has a farm. It was 4 acres, and then we realized she was leasing that land. And I'm like, why are you improving the land for other people? So we bought 19 acres last year, and it's in development. But our goal is to literally open a grocery store for people in our community, because we live in the food desert, as they call it. And some people can't even get to the grocery store unless they get a ride or take an Uber. So we want to make sure they have healthy, affordable food right in our community.
Well, so Courtney, before you jump in, Courtney knows this. I am one of the main reasons I created this platform and use the celebrity aspect of it and all of that is to have a platform to amplify or to give platforms to people and part of our culture and community, people in it, people who are doing work, people who should be platformed who don't get it. So when it comes to promoting Black-owned businesses, when I say that we are all we got, but we got everything we need. We're all we got, but we're all we need, and we have everything we need. That is part of my DNA. So I say all that to say, before we go any further, promote the HBCU site. Let everybody know where they can go and get the gear, the merch, I'm sure some fly gear. You got like the full line. You have like athleisure gear too.
Nope, it's
Now
literally just slippers, robes, pajamas, anything that's just comfort
I like
leisure,
that.
because that didn't exist anywhere.
I like that.
And we just thought that, but it did exist for PWIs. And that was the selling point for us. We're like, wait a minute, how you have it available for them, but you don't have it available for us when we know our contribution to the market share and the retail in the community. So it was a no-brainer till you had to figure out how to get it started. We can talk
So
about that.
for everybody watching, where can they go? What's the I'm
The
sure there's a
website
website we can
is
go and purchase.
hbcuslippers.com.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
hbcuslippers.com.
Okay.
And then you can follow us at HBCU Slippers on any platforms.
All right. And I'm sure just because you didn't go to HBCU, maybe you wanted
No,
to
I
go.
went.
Maybe you didn't know about HBCUs until
you
you
talking
got in college or whatever. But you can still get the gear. You can get the gear and kind of fake it,
Yeah. Well, what we
That's
say
true.
is two things. One, you probably live in a town with or near an HBCU. And two, if you didn't go, somebody in your family went. So you can always find something to support.
Oh, you know somebody. That's true.
That's true.
Mhm.
Because
So, Courtney, take it
HBCUs
away,
at
my
one time
sister.
was all we had.
Yeah, that's it.
I do gotta give it a pause and I'll let Tiny and Kim also shout out their businesses as well. That's one of the things we all have in common.
You
is that
already
we're-
know it. You know, I'm not gonna let anybody leave this show not plugging their business. You know that better than
That's right.
anybody.
That's right. That's one of the things we all have in common is that entrepreneur mindset. So, Tiny, I'm gonna let you talk about your business too.
Oh, sure. Thank you. So, Strategic Excellence actually was born while I was in my Fortune 500 company because there was really a need for areas to just really improve their processes. There were lots of times, and you may have seen this in your everyday phone calls or things where you call and you go, "That just doesn't make sense." Or "Why isn't this easier to do?" Or "I don't understand this. Why did they write this in this language?" And so this strategic excellence was my opportunity to go into organizations and help them to improve their processes and to really help them from a documentation perspective, because oftentimes that's missing in organizations. And God forbid if one person leaves and then everyone's kind of scrambling around trying to figure out who does what happens here and there. And so whether it's large or small, it's just an opportunity to bring in that expertise with the risk management lens and to help people just improve their businesses and provide better products to their customer. So it's something that I really enjoy. It's my passion. It helps me to do I want to help you. What can I do for you? It helps feed that part of me. And so it's definitely something I enjoy. And just one shout out to what I actually like to do when we talk about health is wealth is Every Day's a Holiday 24/7 is my travel channel for YouTube that actually helps. It's really for us to help us to travel more affordably because oftentimes we don't take care of ourselves, and travel is one of the ways that I help take care of myself. So just
I
a
love
plug
that.
for
So once again, let everybody know where they can go and subscribe to your channel right here on YouTube.
Okay, it's called Every Day's a Holiday 24/7. And
So do you
so
have
that
is it connected to a website or another platform?
no, not it is currently a very new YouTube channel, but it's definitely has some good content so far.
All right, absolutely. So just real quick, M. Tiny, in
Mhm,
layman's terms, maybe somebody's watching.
mhm,
How did your expertise with your company's strategic excellence?
mhm,
I got a business. How
mhm.
could you help me improve my business?
Right. So I would say if you're starting your business and you're trying to figure out how to make things work or connect, you're looking to say, hey, we have a process. We want people to do X, Y, and Z. How can we do this efficiently? Or, hey, we put something together. Can you take a look at what we've done and give us some feedback on that? And so then I can help you improve upon what you've already either identified. And I think a lot of that is through conversation, right? So we can talk about what it is you need and help you to draw that out from a documentation perspective.
Oh, cool. Paperwork, basically. Because I mean that for a lot of people that's a tedious part of the job. A lot of times you may have an idea, but you don't have the business expert. You didn't go to business school, or maybe you didn't have a mentor.
Yeah.
But all that's very important to the success. Just making sure that your documentation and paperwork
Right. So
is up
this
to
is
par.
processes, right? Processes, training manuals, things to help you elevate your staff, things of that nature. We can help you with that.
I love that. Oh, I love that. All right, Kimberly, you're up next.
So I am not on a platform. My side hustles are real estate. I buy homes to rent out to people in need. And then my second hustle with these ladies know, and quite a few other friends, as Joanne mentioned, we both went to law school. So I use my expertise from my legal background and my current background in risk management, operational risk management, to help people figure out what those landmines are in their businesses, performing risk assessments to ensure that you're not taking on too much risk, understanding what your risk appetite is for your business, looking at those pitfalls and those some of those agreements that you try to look for and sign out in the industry, and just help people kind of move it along. Joanne, our serial entrepreneur, she and I spend many hours looking over documents and contracts and amendments that she's sourcing for her business. So that's my background, and that's what I tend to do, is do a lot of consulting as well as my own side hustle of finding homes to rehab and rent out.
So Courtney, Kimberly said something, and it really triggered a memory, and it just triggered her voice in the conversation when she said my like other hustle. I can hear my grandfather, because he used to always say, when I was a little boy, he said, "Gene, you got to make sure you have a hustle. Gotta have a hustle." so he was a tailor. Now they would call him a designer, even though he worked for a man that had a clothing store. It was a Jewish family, Jewish man that had a clothing store, who really underpaid him. But my grandfather made his money really from his hustle, which was he had 2 professional sized sewing machines in the bedroom that we shared, because I grew up basically with my grandparents, and my mom moved away and came back with my younger sisters. But I could just, when you said that, I could hear Conway Jones saying, "Gina, you got to have a hustle now. You got to have a hustle." So I don't know. So Kimberly, you say you were from Virginia. My grandfather was from Mississippi, but we all came through either this port or Louisiana. So we are all connected.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. My father's family is from Nashville. So
really, okay, all right.
Geno, that's what we've been talking about just recently amongst ourselves and what we see with each other. You see the statistics and the numbers about Black women specifically, but Black people generally getting laid off. And there's a concern in our community about that. But when I talk to these ladies and we start to get together, similar to what you said, why can't we just have our own? We have people with expertise in every field for everything that needs to be done. We can get the buildings. We can get the people to run the buildings. We got all the different specialized functions at this point. We got doctors, lawyers, accountants, pharmacists, you name it. We got it. Grocery store owners, tailors. There's no reason we can't have our own self-contained community again to support each other. So we're starting on a small scale just with each other in that support, but our sister circle expands, right? So each of us has a separate circle outside of the sister circle where a question will come up and I go, "Oh, don't worry, I got a guy." And I call Kim or I call Courtney, or I call Tony. I'm like, "Somebody just asked me a question about this. I don't know anything about it, but I know one of you do." And so we're able to build that community that way. And now it's more important than ever for us to start going down that road.
I love this. Joan, you've been watching my show. So Courtney, I think Joan been watching my show. She just
you didn't even cue up Joanne. Joanne knew the question you were going to ask beforehand.
To a whole bunch of my monologues.
Yes.
I love that. Listen, I want to put a pin in that because I want to come back to that, because I wanted to address just what you were talking about, especially in regards to Black women, but Black people in general, but Black women specifically, in terms of what's happening in the climate that we are living in terms of how it's affected jobs and Black wealth. But it is the insurance month. So Courtney, I know there's some things that's important that we need to touch on in terms of making sure that we are properly insured. So why don't you take that part of the conversation?
I think one of the things we always talk about in our sister circle is a lot of our family members will come to us and ask us insurance questions. And I wanted each one of us to talk a little bit about some of those insurance expertise, insurance knowledge that we've been sharing with our families, so others can hear from us too directly, especially as Black women in the insurance field. I think it'd be good for us to talk a little bit about some of the knowledge that you've shared with your friends and family outside of our sister circle for insurance. So Joanne, I'll start with you.
Okay, that's fine. I think everybody will nod their heads when I say initially, I don't do all insurance. Oh my God, it's hard for people to understand sometimes that when you say insurance, it is not home insurance, auto insurance, life insurance, disability insurance. I don't do all of it. So that's the first thing that you have to clear up with family members. And then as a lawyer, it's a whole nother ball game in that space too, because I think you do all kinds of law, and that's, oh, it gets crazy. But the questions that I've been able to answer for family members, first of all, around life insurance, because there are different kinds and different ways you can help. But the first thing we had to emphasize with family was to just get any life insurance. I'm not doing a fundraiser for a funeral anymore. You're not going to come GoFundMe to try to get somebody buried. It doesn't cost that much. So that's the first question we usually get is just life insurance. How does it work? What can I get? And there's life insurance now that doesn't have health questions. So it's like, why are you concerned about even your health in this space about getting life insurance? Let's go. So that's a big one. Because I used to do medical insurance, I get a lot of questions, and I used to work for the Virginia Department of Insurance in the medical space. I get a lot of questions about Medicare, Medicaid, disability, how those work, the functions of them, which ones they should get, right? Because a lot of people are employed, and especially younger people in their first job, they don't know what they're supposed to sign up for with benefits. So answering those questions has been a blessing to be able to provide answers, and really made us hopeful that people are actually asking the questions. But again, there are certain topics that I'm not familiar with, even in the insurance space, which is why I have the sister circle. So I go to them as well. So I'll let Kim and Tani talk further about the things they talk about too.
Kim, let's go to you.
Sure. What Joanne talks about really resonates. I don't know all types of insurance. One of the focal points for me has been creating generational wealth. So imparting the knowledge that I've learned over the years, particularly to my two nieces and my nephew and my godkids. So when they start getting, their first jobs, sitting them down and saying, don't leave money on the table. If there's a 401k at this job, you are going to contribute the max so that you can max out and get that free money. In addition to that, when they started started 16 and got their first little jobs, I challenged them, a savings challenge to see how much they could save. And whatever they saved in 3 months, I was matching. And my oldest niece did not successfully meet the challenge, but my nephew did. And that inspired my youngest niece when she got her first job. So these types of things kind of push forward the mantra and the method of save, invest, teaching them about investment. Insurance is a great investment. It is one of the quickest, I won't say quick, but one of the steadfast ways of building generational wealth. It's not something that we're taught. We're not taught this type of financial literacy. But once you start to learn it, you see the avenue that insurance can help pave the way for the next generation, and just being able to impart that wisdom. And again, circling back to the sister circle, there were times I didn't understand what is reinsurance. It was a common term in the industry. And of course, I leaned into my sister circle to learn more about it. But it's one of those things where we sit and we talk about what are the things we're most passionate about, what are the things we're doing, so that then we can also talk to our other circles and also talk to our families about those types of endeavors and avenues that might resonate and help move our community, further along. I think we all have that passion to want to see our community succeed. So it's bringing it back and bringing it home and making sure that we are all being successful.
Courtney, I just had a follow-up question before we go to M. Tani. So Kim, when you mentioned insurance and generational wealth, if you don't mind, could you drill down on that a little more? Because I think a lot of times, even if we have that conversation, in our community or culture about generational wealth, a lot of times you think it's the stock market, and everybody's not in the stock. Probably almost half of the country is not in the stock market, which is something. 401k plan puts you in the stock market. But when you talk about insurance, and then people think about, of course, purchasing real estate, a home or land, but the connection with insurance and generational wealth. Could you kind of drill down on that in a layman's term, like you would if you? I'm sure the conversations that you've had, like you said, with your nieces and nephews.
Yeah, sure. My parents, the baby boom kind of generation is, I think culturally we stay away from insurance because it's like, oh, death insurance and you're bringing death to me. And it's like, I had to have that conversation with my parents. Like, that's not what we're doing. You are providing and establishing something that will help. It may not help me, but it'll help your grandkids. And I point to the grandkids when they were in the room. I said, those are the ones you love. You don't love me anymore. You love them. So let's set something up to establish continuous education. Education is very important to my dad and my mom. So I said, why don't we start to look at it in that way? How do we establish an insurance policy that is designated for them, that if anything happens to you or me, their education would be covered. So it's starting to have those conversations, and not just have those conversations with my parents, but having it with the grandkids in the room, having it with the niece and nephew. It teaches them the value of the dollar and start to get their mindset around how do I need to handle my money? How do I need to budget? What are the other financial tools out there that will help establish me so that I can buy a home? I can put that 20% down. I can go in and say, where do I tap? If I don't have, the 9 to 5, if I don't have, 6 other companies, what are my streams of income? Life insurance, insurance products in general, help you build a stream of income for the long term. There are different products that you could take out a loan against. And these are tools that have been out in the industry for years, but our community has not been on the forefront of the knowledge that it takes to look at that. And it's not hard. They're not hard concepts. It's not a lot of money. To Joanne's point, it's putting $10 a week away, that's small. And that's how you start. And that's how I started with my nieces and my nephew, is a little bit each week, each paycheck, and you'll start to see it build. And, my niece that didn't successfully meet the challenge, one of the things that it did teach her was she did save. She just didn't save the amount she needed to win my match.
So did she run it back? Did she say, hey, Auntie, can we run this back?
Well, what she did was she also attended an HBCU, not the number one HBCU, but she was at an HBCU. And she had to buy some books. And she had to buy some books.
She went to the other one, so that's why we're like, yeah.
Virginia State University. Let's.
And she had to buy some books, and and at the time she was working part-time, and she tapped into that savings, and she actually called me and said, "But for you starting this challenge with me, I would not have been able to purchase these books on my own. I would have had to, call mommy and daddy and beg for some additional funds for school." And I said, see, that's the importance of saving. That's the importance of staying ahead of the things that you want and being able to do those things. I said, you want to put things away. You want to put that emergency fund away so that no one can ever tell you no, because I can do it myself. Yeah. I've got that stream of income. I've established my finances in a way that allows me to move forward and do and get the things that I want out of life.
And just that kind of financial security. Listen, I'm speaking from experience in real time. When you've got that kind of cushion, you sleep better at night. I don't know.
Yes.
I can't speak for all of you all, but trust me, if I don't have that, I don't sleep well at night, because the subconscious part of your brain, which comes alive when you sleep, which I didn't realize until my doctor told me because I was having some sleep issues. I'm like, why am I having these crazy dreams? And he's like, your subconscious is all the things that you thought you buried, all that things that's creating anxiety and stress that you think that you try to manage. Well, you not manage it. So that's why you wake up at 3 in the morning, because that part of your brain comes alive, the subconscious part. I said, oh, well, it made sense. So just having that, knowing that you've got that cushion where you don't have to ask anybody. It's like, oh, okay, we're good.
Yes.
I got this. So
Absolutely.
Imtani, what about you? What have you
Imtani?
been telling? Yes, what have you been telling your friends and family in regards to life insurance?
And
tips
shout out
and
your
tricks?
HBCU, please, because the look she had on the face.
It's Virginia State University.
Yeah,
But I have to say, I'm jealous of A&T, so I get the connection with Joanne and Kimberly. So,
I'm not jealous of A&T at all.
yeah, hey, you have to give it to them for sticking together. Like, literally, like, you know, I'll be happy to wear the T-shirt on the side one day.
So wait, Imtani, so Virginia,
Virginia State University.
The team that just lost to Norfolk State this past week.
Wow.
Stop.
That
Stop.
was
We're not gonna do
that was slow.
So
Yeah, you didn't have to say that.
You didn't have to.
I'm thinking. So I grew up in Chicago. So for a while they had this brother to play. He played with Michael Jordan for a minute. You know, not a great player, but you know he was pretty well known in the NBA. Charles Oakley, but I think he went to Virginia Union.
I think Oakley went.
I think
He
Oakley
didn't go
went
to
to
your
Virginia
school.
Union.
What I'm asking. So he didn't go to your school, Imtani.
No.
Damn.
No.
No.
Yeah.
It had a similar ring, so that's why I was like, wait a minute. I was like, is that the school that Charles Oakley went to? But no, it wasn't. So
No.
never mind me.
Yeah. So I would say that working in the insurance industry definitely changed some of the conversations that I have with my family. It kind of hit close to home. So one, by the time I got to my mother and really started to have conversations about life insurance, I'm going to say the day before she went to submit her application, she was diagnosed with colon cancer. And so that was the point where you go, well, hey, now it's kind of too, not that it's too late, but it's going to be very expensive at this point. And so it really just exemplified the need for me to start having conversations about life insurance early on with everyone in my family, and just really just saying, hey, are we protected? Do you have life insurance? You have family with kids? Is having the conversations early, but not just about life insurance, but are you looking at your retirement? Like, are you, you have lots of my cousins now are in their 20s, and it's like, okay, you're starting these positions. Have you considered investing in your 401k or investing in something to help during your retirement? And I always tell them, like, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't know everything about every product, but I can connect you with the right people to start to have those conversations. So for me, it's really just, I don't care who it is. If you're talking about people and you hear the conversations about how they lost a family member or how someone retired and they had to go back to work because they didn't have enough money, or how a family member was sick and then a person had to go out on disability and how that impacted the family. Oftentimes, those are opportunities where you go, well, have you considered insurance for yourself or your other family members? And so really, oftentimes, I say I have a lot of random conversations with people that I meet in my travels, but it doesn't matter whether they're family, friends, or people you meet in between. When you have those conversations or you hear about their lives, there's no point that you cannot ask a question about what you have from a life insurance perspective, or if you're covered. Like, I don't need the details, but I think it's just asking the question of, do you have it? Or maybe telling a story of things that you've heard. We've heard lots of things in the industry about families with people who have lost people. We've seen the GoFundMe pages for people who have passed, but just using those opportunities to have the conversation and then to connect them to the people that actually are able to assist them in actually purchasing those products or telling them where to go online. I think some of that is directing them to resources has actually been very helpful. And if I wasn't in the insurance industry, I don't know if I myself would have bought life insurance, or I would have invested as much or as early in my career into retirement products, or if I would have even sought other investments or looked for other streams of income. And so it's important to educate yourself, to put yourself around people. I've learned from the sister circle of things that I potentially may have needed or should have considered, and not just in life insurance, but in other avenues. And so it's really important to just be open to have the conversation. And remember, you don't have to have all the details, but if you have the gist of the fact that, hey, if a loved one dies, I need to make sure that my kids are taken care of, or from Kim's perspective, that the education of my family is taken care of, that I've at least broached the subject and maybe connected them to someone that could assist.
And M. Tiny, I just want to follow up, Courtney, I just want to follow up with something with M. Tiny. I think it's important because we talk about insurance and how it's really important that we kind of break this kind of myth and stereotype, especially, like I said, for your parents that may be, baby boomers or the greatest generation, or even like, Gen Xers on the older end. But if you don't mind, M. Tiny and everybody else, please feel free to share your perspective. Just speak to how important it is for even your Gen Zs in their 20s, like you were saying, Kim, or millennials. I've got a daughter that's a Gen Z, and I got one that's a millennial. Speak to that because, unfortunately, I'm seeing more and more young people come down with diseases. M. Tana, you spoke of colon cancer. I saw studies where it's saying more and more young people are coming down with diseases like that. So I'm pretty sure it's pretty important. But M. Tani, would you like to speak to that? And the group can speak to it too. It ain't just for your grandparents or your mom or your daddy. You in your 20s or 30s, you're not too young to start thinking about having life insurance. Am I wrong there, or would you agree?
No, I think you're absolutely right. And I think when you're young is the best time to start to purchase it. I mean, I actually purchased a policy for myself in my 20s.
Oh, wow.
Right. So, and I would not have if I did not work for an insurance company. I can tell you, I would have probably had no clue whatsoever.
I didn't.
But,
like,
it would have been.
I didn't have it in my 20s.
Right. Really? I would have thought about it. But I also then with my mom, so you figure she was probably about 25 years older than I am. Even if I would have gotten her policy, it would have been about 3 times more than it was for me. And I'm like, you can afford as a 20-something-year-old putting aside $20, $15, $10 a week for your own life insurance, right? Mm-hmm. Like, and depending on what you get, 20 years from now, if you needed to take a loan, there are certain products out there that potentially you could leverage to help you if you were in a bind, right? Like, but again, if you don't purchase it early enough, you haven't built the money into it. And so it just becomes harder because then the older you get, the more responsibilities you get, the more illnesses you may come up with, all these things that may impact the price of insurance. But at this day and age, there's so many products out there. There's so many different opportunities that you have to get something. Like we should have something. No one should be without like a life insurance policy at this point. And when you think about it, when we talk about generational wealth, I had some pressure taken off of me. Like you take the pressure off of your surviving family members and leave them with something to help them in the future. Right, to help them to navigate the world without you.
Yes.
And I want to say something that's probably going to sound kind of grim, but it really makes a difference. Parents can take coverages out on their children.
That's true.
You don't have to wait for them to take it out themselves. My mom and I took coverage out on my brother, and he actually passed away a couple of years ago for overdose. And if we didn't have that coverage in place, we've been scrambling to figure out how to pay for that coverage out of our pockets. So that same $10, $20 a month Tiny's talking about, a parent can actually take that $20 a month and put it towards a policy for their child. My mom had it come directly out of her account, so she didn't even miss it. She didn't even think about it, but when it was time for it to be needed, it was there. So I know a lot of times you're trying to convince your kids to get coverage. Just go get it for them. And once you go on, if it's still there, they can continue it and keep it in place, but at least you have it just in case something happens. We always joke, people always talk about insurance. It really is the just in case coverage, right? Automobile is just in case you get in a car wreck. Disability is just in case you get sick. Life insurance is the one insurance that's guaranteed to pay.
It's not a just in case.
Right.
It's when it happens.
Right.
So, and that's a big factor. Go ahead, Kim.
And the other insurance that people should consider is long-term care.
Definitely.
As our population changes, as people live longer, or as things happen, long-term care insurance is something to consider. I've told my niece and nephew, because they one niece said I could come live with her. She can't take care of herself, so I'm not sure how she's gonna take care of me. But then the other niece said she was gonna put me on a home, and I said, "Oh, let me tell you, baby girl, you don't need to worry about that. I have a long-term insurance care policy. I'm covered. I'm going to be good, and I don't need to come live with you." And then I looked at her and said, "Me and all my money is going to go to the home that my policy cares for."
That's right.
And then she changed her mind. She said, "Oh, you can come live with me, Auntie." And I said, "Okay, yeah." But those are things I talk to them about. They're in their late 20s, and now my oldest niece is in her early 30s. These are the things that you think about now, because by the time you get to an age where you realize, oh, I want to retire at X age, but I haven't really started saving for it. Why stress yourself? Start saving for it now. Start saving, putting that small amount away, that 401k, that 403b that your company offers a match for, because by the time you get to, when you're 50, 55, and you start thinking about it, you'll look back on that paperwork and go, I got a nice chunk of change here. And you can start to really value and think about how you want to retire. I think the most critical thing that I've talked to them about is lifestyle that you live now is not the lifestyle you're going to live in 20 years. But if there are some aspects of that you truly want to keep, like they know me, I like to travel. I will hop on a plane every week if I could. So I knew that. I knew that.
It's one of the things we have in common.
When I was young. So going into retirement, that's the one thought I had is I want a bucket of money that's just for me to travel. And so that's a target that I have. That's a goal that I have. That's money being put aside in, my 401k that's thinking about that part is for retirement. From retirement for my travel. I don't have to think about that anymore. I said, that's the kind of, and you said it right, Geno. I sleep good at night, real good well, I don't sleep good for other reasons, but for my retirement, I sleep. From my financial perspective, I sleep good on that side of the world. But it's one of those things that you have to really have the conversation and encourage people to learn and about these types of tools and these products so that they can be more comfortable as the years go by.
So let me
I just have to say that policies are the same amount as a cup of Starbucks coffee every single month. Like, it's the same. You can get a policy for that same amount. It's not that expensive as much as people think it is. And that's something where you can ask us and we can tell you who to go to from an expertise and guide you in the right direction. But a Starbucks cup of coffee to cover your loved ones and at least make sure you're covered and you're buried when you pass, it's important. It's worth it.
Or the money you spend in fast food. I could name a whole lot of stuff that I'm not going to name. But but Courtney, if you don't mind, I want to follow up something with Kim on the long-term care. The climate that we're living in, unfortunately, unless collectively we as Americans do what we need to do, that's a whole nother show. Unfortunately, a lot of people are going to be faced with losing Medicaid, Medicare, and so my main question is, when is it too late, or is it never too late in theory to start or to open up a long-term care policy? Maybe something that you didn't think about. I know if you're like 85, yes, but you understand where I'm going? What if you're in your 50s or maybe even 60s? Is it too late then? Would you recommend something else?
I would recommend, it's earlier is better for long-term care, because you get the benefit of a lower cost premium and later,
So
later
what age does it become like not cost effective, for lack of better choice? When it's like Okay, it really wouldn't
Sometimes
make
they
sense.
won't even let you sign up after a certain age. So
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can't even sign
there's
up
a
after a
cutoff
certain
because
age.
it's not
like there's
you can't make any money off of it at that
Yeah.
point.
Oh,
So
wow.
right.
So what is
Yeah.
that?
Right.
Was
Yeah.
it what? Somewhere with mid-late 50s, early 60s, mid 60s?
I think, yeah.
Is it
Yeah,
55? I think it's 55.
Is it 55?
it could be about 55. I think the range is 55 to 60 or 65 for some policies.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got my policy when I was in my 30s, and I've kept it even though there's been legislation and we know the climate we live in where it doesn't become beneficial for the insurance company.
Right.
But they have to keep my policy in place
Yep.
at the rate at which I've been paying it. So I'm going to continue to pay that and keep it. That's the one thing I will not lose. I will forego my Starbucks. I will forego getting my nails done. That policy is going to be paid because that policy is going to take care of me when and if I need to go into a home. And it's not just going to a home. It's going to take care of someone taking care of me, right? It's going to take care, if I want to stay in my home, it's going to take care of home health care to be in my home with me. So that is the one policy can I curse? Come hell or high water. That is the one policy that will always get.
Okay, hold on.
Apparently, no.
Oh yeah, this is come on. No. Is one of the mottos on this show, Joe, and it's tell the truth, shame the devil. So whatever that truth sounds or looks like.
You don't know what you opening up.
I know.
No. You haven't seen enough of my monologues. Courtney will tell you. So I'm like, no. I've just been on good behavior because I had all four of you all. But Courtney knows now. You go back and look at some of my old monologues. Tiny would be like, oh damn, G, oh wow.
So yes.
Go ahead, Kevin.
I was just going to say, so yes, come hell or high water, that policy will continue to always be paid. And that's just like my 401k. Come hell or high water, I am fully funding it to also get, the matching from my company, right?
Yes.
And, those are very, targeted things to do. Even when we talk about financial planners, I interviewed a lot of them, but you have to settle in on the one that really understands where you want to go with your money, where you want to be in retirement. And again, not be afraid to pull the trigger if they're not doing what you need them to do and change.
Right, they working
and
for
say,
you paying them.
You're paying them. This is your money. And you need to have a lot of it in retirement if you want to sustain the lifestyle that you have become accustomed to.
Yeah, I forgot to see, it's the serial entrepreneur in me. I forgot to plug the other company.
Oh yeah.
I have another one. So my girlfriend was executive director for nursing homes for 20 years and got laid off. But one of my friends had an aunt who ended up with dementia. And he's like, I don't know what we're supposed to do. She's got all this money, so she doesn't have Medicaid. We got to try to get her in a nursing home. What are we supposed to do? And true to form, I'm like, I got a guy. I don't do that. So I called her. She was like, tell the social worker this, and this. I'm going to call this nursing home, ask for this person. We'll be able to place her within the next week. Don't worry about anything. I got you. And I'm like, girl, that is a job. And she's like, what are you talking about? I said, people do not want to deal with social workers. Nursing homes don't want to deal with the families. Families don't know what to say to either party. So they're kind of stuck trying to figure this out. I said, you're the one that can help facilitate all that so it makes it easier for people. So we started that company last month. So that's jnmhealthconsulting.com. I forgot that we'd even done that because it's been so recent. But I feel like that's one of the things that Kim is referring to with the boomer generation coming up. Everybody's going to end up needing some help in some form or fashion. But we, as the kids of those boomers, don't know or understand how that process works, what's needed, what you're supposed to have, what you're not supposed to have. Everything keeps changing in that space. So even though you think you may have it together at one point, you don't, and you have to try to figure it out. And again, social workers get mad in the hospitals, nursing homes get mad in the nursing homes, and there just needs to be somebody who can speak to everybody to keep it calm, because that doesn't help the patient or the client at all. So that's our other company, is jmhealthconsulting.com.
And so do you guys have an online platform, or is it just for folks in Virginia, right? Is it in that area?
No,
Or is it
we're
so?
nationwide. She's in North Carolina. We're nationwide. We're
Okay.
on Facebook, J&M Health Consulting. We're on Instagram at J&M Health Consulting. So if you just put J&M Health Consulting, we should pop up in Google, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you are.
Or maybe even a boomer, maybe reach out to you all, maybe want to try to have a game plan or strategy, like, okay, what do I need to be doing now? I'm in good health now and everything, so
Yeah, power attorneys, living wills, they help with all of that. And that's so important, because as you see parents go into dementia or Alzheimer's, they think they know what they're talking about and they don't. And you don't have a way to try to convince them to let them help you at that point, right? And so it's just a never ending battle, because you're trying to get them the help they need. They think they don't need it until you catch them in the middle of the street somewhere, disoriented and not knowing where to go. So those things can really help facilitate that before something bad happens. Sorry.
Everyone needs a living will.
Everyone
needs to put a living will in place.
Yep.
Everyone needs to put a medical POA in place, a medical power of attorney.
Yep.
If you don't do anything else, have those two documents drafted and put in place.
Yep.
And please keep them updated. Please keep them updated. Make sure they are updated. Make sure you look at them on a frequent basis. You don't want to do one 10 years from now, then change and have it not updated, and have you moved to a new location or a new loved one or new anything. So please make sure they are updated. That is important too.
And put them where somebody can find them.
That part too.
That part.
That's from personal experience. Yeah.
And since Kimberly, you brought up a living will, would you recommend a person have a living will, even if they don't have a lot of money, or maybe they don't own a home, they don't have a lot of assets? Would you would still recommend?
I still recommend it.
And explain why you would recommend that.
Because it tells your family and your loved ones what you want to do with the disposition of just your things, your clothing, your anything that you have. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to have, $1 million to have this living will. There are things that are pride and possessions to you that are meaningful, that you want to pass on to someone or pass on to charity, and make sure that it's in there so that someone knows how to handle it, and handle what you would like as a service or as your last disposition. So those are two things that are very critical. And you don't have to have a lot of money to have a will, to leave things. When you start to sit down and write down, I always encourage people to write down the things that you do have, the things that are meaningful to you, and what would you like to see happen to those things. I had a friend who had wonderful books, just a wonderful collection of books that she didn't think was meaningful to anyone. I was like, that's meaningful to people. That's meaningful to your local library. They may have those books, but this infusion from you of a whole set could be, education for some. They could distribute it to schools. I said, think about that. You may want to leave that collection to a school. So it's a matter of sitting down, thinking about the things that you have now, and where would you like to see them go? What would you like to see happen to them?
Now, Kim, I could imagine that could be awkward. Now, I'm not turning you into a therapist, so this may be a better question for like a therapist, but I could imagine that could be an awkward conversation. Maybe your parent could maybe take it the wrong way, or kind of be in their feelings, saying, why are you suggesting that I get a will? You understand what I'm saying? So
yes.
How do you, would you, or maybe I'm sure you've gotten advice even from, trained therapists. What guidance have you gotten? Have you learned? How do you broach that conversation? How do you approach that loved one without, making them think that you're trying to kill them off to get whatever?
A couple of things. And I think some of it is just from my education and going to law school, and then even in the insurance world, and being in this business for over 20 years, you start to understand how to have those crucial conversations. And you say, And I've had this conversation with many loved ones and said, I don't want anything from you. I want to help you. I want to help you have the where you want things to go and where you want things to happen. I don't have to do it. And that's what I always tell my loved ones, because, you always have those family members that think you're out for something. It's like, I don't have to do it, but I can give you names and numbers. I can, give you people to contact, and you can figure out or who you want to work with. And I don't have to have any more involvement. But the critical thing here is to just get started and to do it, because when you don't, you see what happens to some families, the dissension, the confusion, the chaos that can ensue when a loved one passes away. And that's what a will is trying to avoid. That's what setting some structure around it, and to say, hey, this is the person in charge. They're going to disseminate everything this way. They're going to distribute everything this way. They're going to do this. This is what I want, right? It's nothing like reading it and saying, this is what she wanted or he wanted, and this is the way he asked for it. One of my aunts had a very detailed will, and it was so intriguing to sit and read it. I was actually in high school at the time, and she did not leave anyone out. Everyone's name was in there, and she specifically had something in mind that each person was going to receive. And that's probably one of the reasons why I went to law school, is looking at that and talking to her at times. And it was just fascinating. And I've always thought that people should have a will. And so I do try to talk to my friends and family about having a living will, having a medical power of attorney, and having the right documents in place.
I love that. So if there's anybody that's watching this show now that you've listened to the conversation and is saying, okay, you know what, I think I need to get life insurance, or I'm gonna have this conversation with my mom or my dad or a grandparent or aunt or uncle. So if they need life insurance, who should they contact? We have all this talent and expertise on the screen. So here's an opportunity to let everybody know that they can reach out to you and enlist your services.
Courtney.
Call Courtney for that.
You call Courtney.
No. Remember we talked about these products. I work in group reinsurance.
Why didn't I just want to get if maybe somebody somebody was that hustle was life insurance. So bottom line, but that can be because you see all the commercials and you see the brother. I don't even know what the name of that product, but you see all these TV commercials. So it can be overwhelming. It's hard enough just thinking about your own mortality. That's hard enough for any of us. So I don't know what or who.
Our recommendation is insurance individuals that work typically in the group in the corporate world, as we say, at least reach out to your financial advisor. If you don't have a financial advisor, for some direction, and then at least try to Google and look online to see what's available, or a person that's in your area. We do know people in certain states that we can tell you and recommend, but we don't typically pick a company or a carrier to recommend specifically, because we do work in that corporate space. But we can tell you a person if you tell us what state you live in.
Courtney.
And there are also some great questionnaires online that you can Google that, because I was going to say, one of the things the basic question is, what do you want to happen? What do you want the insurance for? Do you want it to pay the mortgage off if something happened to you? Do you want it for education of your children? Have that basic concept of the answer of what you want this insurance for. And you can Google it, and there are questionnaires out there that can help you. And then, it'll give you some direction on, maybe look into these 5 companies.
Because it could be somebody watching, even, who knows, 70s or 80s, or maybe they have a parent, and, there's a lot of scammers out there. So it can just, it's enough to, think about, I got to think about dying, that pops in people's head. So you got to get over that hurdle, and then it's like, okay, yeah, I need life insurance. Who do I trust? And with all these scammers out there and people especially trying to take advantage, of our seniors and elderly, that can be a lot. So,
But
I
that's
definitely tell people,
Go ahead.
sorry, I was going to say, I definitely tell people to not, and this is unfortunate, but I tell people not to use the people that call you. You want to make sure you're in control of who you're talking to and having the conversation with. So if someone calls you and says, hey, this is such and such, that's not probably typically who you want to go with. And I can say for Tani and I, we can speak from personal experience too. So if you have a question about something from a personal perspective, definitely you can ask us and ask your friends and family. That's what your circle is supposed to be for. So
listen, you all have been so awesome. I'm going to invite all you ladies back because there was something I really wanted to take a dive on. And Courtney, we talked about a pre-show. 63 years ago, Malcolm X gave a speech, and he said the most disrespected, unprotected, neglected person in America is a black woman. And like I said, America's basically said to Black America, period, men and women, we're giving you our ass to kiss. We don't really give a damn about you all, and demonize DEI. So, but my solution is, okay, we're gonna anti-DEI our money, our treasure, and our talent, and see how that work out. So, our kids won't be going to UNC to play for Bill Belichick. They'll go to NCAA, A&T or what.
A&T.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah. It goes back to the African proverb, each one teach one.
Yeah.
And if we get back to that and keep that insular in our community, I think what you're saying just puts us leagues ahead.
So and I know how busy you guys are, and Courtney will let me know. Courtney, thank you for putting this sister circle together because you guys have been like brilliant. I mean, your knowledge and expertise, but it's important for people to be able to look at the screen and see people that look like them, that you can see and hear and feel the genuineness, the authenticity, as the kids say, or keeping it real. It's like, okay, this is, I can relate. She looked like my auntie or my mom or something like that. But this information has been so important. But the conversation I wanted to close with, that we will come back to another episode, especially that number, over 300,000 Black women have lost jobs. And a lot of Black men have too. So brothers, we're not leaving you all out, but Black women have been really micro-targeted for a whole bunch of reasons, because y'all know how your boy Owen Hitler is. Not only is he racist, but misogynist, sexist, and adjudicated sexual offender in a civil trial. Y'all to watch me every day for 5 years. You know that conversation. But everything has been turned up past 10. And just, I wanted you all to speak on, and maybe just share some stories or your own advice, wisdom for women and men, but specifically Black women just navigating these spaces, or maybe they were a victim of losing a job just because it wasn't like they weren't qualified, because you got people out there lying with this bullshit of, where Black women don't have the intelligence, but the people with the most degrees in this country are Black women. So that's a whole nother conversation. So I won't go into that monologue, but I just think it's important. I think not just Black women, but Black people, but Black women specifically would be inspired by you all sharing your stories and just how you've navigated and how you're navigating now, and what you would, just what you recommend going forward in terms of what they need to do. I know, Joan, you were talking about it. So Courtney's going to let me know if you guys are willing to come back when it'll be convenient for you. I'd love to have that, because I think that's a really important conversation.
it is. It definitely is
important. So it's no problem. She has a much larger circle that could be part of that discussion too. So
I think it's really important because they're coming for all of us.
That's true.
Including folks with these red hats that don't think they're coming for you. They're coming for your ass because they like you less than they do us. And you've seen enough monologues. So this whole con game called race that was made up by Europeans in the 1680s. They did that so they could dig in everybody's pocket. Because ignorance, fear, bigotry, and hate in all of its forms has always been, for centuries, big business. And it is still big business. And it will continue to be big business until we figure it out and be like, oh, wait a minute, hold on now. Oh, I figured out that's the con. Oh, so y'all want us fighting. In the meantime, Elon Musk getting $8 million a day of everybody's taxpayer money. So you get paid tomorrow and you see FICA, some of that money's going to Elon, $8 million a day. So, so I digress. So
thank you.
We will have that I would love to have that conversation with you ladies again, but I want to thank each and every one of you. Tani Holiday, Tani, like, you know, I love it because so obviously TV and radio, I've done 3 decades. So 3 decades, that means I got some old school. So when I saw your name, first I thought of M2 May. Actually, that was his last name. He's with the ancestors, but a brother named James M2 May, who was really a brilliant producer, produced a lot of hits for folks in the 80s and 90s. Yeah. So seeing your name, that just kind of reminded me of his name. And thank you, Kimberly Watson and Joan Sproul. This was an amazing.
Joanne Sproul. Joanne.
Yes. Thank you, Joanne.
Cool in the game, Joanna.
Thank you, Joanne Sproul, and Miss Courtney's Corner over there. You another home run, Courtney. Thank you. Thank you, ladies. I'm just gonna let you. If any of you all have any closing remarks, anything, last words that you want to share, feel free. And then Courtney, you can take it home.
I have a few words. I just want to say publicly, Courtney, we're so proud of you and we love this show. And this was so good. Thank you so much for having us. We thoroughly enjoyed it. Geno, it was nice to meet you and speak with you as well. I'll make sure to curse more next time if they bring me on.
Just be yourself. There's one thing that nobody in the world can beat you, Joanne, or anybody doing is being the best version of you. So be you. Just be yourself.
So speaking of being me, and you're going to get an eye roll from those folks, but since you're in TV and radio, if you happen to see Nasir Jones somewhere, so you got the eye roll coming. Yes.
I don't really have, because I didn't grow up in I never worked in New York City.
I gotta ask.
She had to ask.
And
I had
that's okay. I am a Nas fan. So,
me too. Very much so. That's a whole nother show though.
So, but if I can make that plug, I don't know what his status is.
I do. Don't worry about it.
So and I'll check with Courtney, make sure your status, because I ain't trying to wind up on Karamo or Maury. So
Listen, she failed to tell you, she's not only a serial entrepreneur, she's a serial Nas stalker.
Yes, that's it.
It's not stalking, the charges are not pressed. So we all. But Kim and Tani, I don't know if you guys have some words too.
Yes. I concur with everything you said. Courtney, very proud of you. Geno, love your show. Thank you for having us. It's been great.
Yeah, ditto. And, great opportunity, Geno, to get access to you. So I definitely will start watching even more. And Courtney, we love you. We're proud of you. And everybody needs a sister circle. Yes. So if you don't have one, get the people in your circle that support you, that are honest with you, but that also make you better. So that's it.
I have to say too, publicly, our sister circle is closed. We are not accepting any new applicants. So once people see this, get your own sister circle.
No. And that's important. That's important. I was just going to say, for all the fellas watching, because we probably may have it now. My circle is small, just because I was raised that way. My grandfather just said, you don't want to travel with a bunch of people. But it doesn't matter. I mean, your circle could be a circle of just you and another person. It could be 4. It could be that. You figure that out. It's like, your own tribe. We're part of a greater tribe, but doesn't mean it's sister circles, because, like I said, we are all we got. But we got everything we need, and we are all we need. So basically, the way I say it, we're all we got. But we're all we need, and we got everything we need. So we're gonna need to bring all these different sister circles and brother circles and bring some of the sister and brother, because there's gonna be time to where we're gonna need to, like that Venn diagram, we're gonna have to overlap and come together, like the Black Avengers, and be like, okay, here we go. So thank you, ladies. So Courtney, we'll see you again next time.
That's right.
And
Thank you.
once again, Tani Holiday, Kim Watson, Joanne Spruill. I really want to have that conversation, and Courtney, we'll figure that out off camera. But I really want to have that conversation because Courtney does know that I am 10 toes down with the standing in the breach and and I don't speak for every black man, but the media narrative that black men don't like black women and vice versa, black women don't like black men and black women don't. 85% of black people marry another black person. So that ain't my opinion. That's fact and data. You can just look at the census records on that. So, but the point I'm trying to make, which goes back to why I said it's so important that we have black-owned media, because we have people that want us apart, because our division among ourselves is profitable for people. They make money off of us hating ourselves and each other. So since I have a media platform, it's up to me to be like, nope, that's bullshit. No, here's the real facts. You can go find it for yourself and use my platform to highlight black excellence, or just the fact that we love each other. We would not have got here if we didn't collectively have love for each other. As my mother says, teeth and tongue fall out, and they're in the same mouth. But I focus, like I've had to tell my youngest daughter, and I get it, 23, we all had bad dates. We were in our 20s. Don't focus on the knuckleheads. Just look at your dad, you got your uncle, you got your brother-in-law. So you've got some great examples around you. So just understand that. No, I know we've all unfortunately kissed a frog or two before we found the prince or princess. So, but don't buy into that media narrative that I see on social media. And I see it a lot because I'm in the media, especially when it comes to black people and black love. It's just it's the algorithm that highlights black love. I don't know what that one is. I don't think that they got that on Meta, because you don't see that. But if there's controversy or conversations about black men and black women not liking each other, loving each other, you'll see that promoted. And I remind people, see, it's a reason for that. Who owns this platform and who's making money off this platform? So that's a whole nother conversation. Thank you, ladies. Enjoy. Courtney, did you want to say something with that billion dollar smile before we?
I think we're good. I appreciate my sister circle. I love each of them dearly, and I love us all together. So look forward to us talking again, and I know we'll talk offline. So I'll talk to you guys soon.
Thank you, ladies.
Bye. Take care.
And I'm looking forward to our next conversation. Thank you for your time, because I know you all are very busy, and I appreciate it that you thought enough about me in the show because of your sister in the circle there. So thank you, Courtney. We'll talk soon. Well, you'll have the episode, and I got everybody's email, so I'll make sure you all have this episode. So it was a great conversation. Let's make it go viral. Thank you, Tani Holiday, Kim Watson, Joanne Spruill, and Miss Courtney Johnson, CoJoLLC.com. Looking to buy or sell a home. Sponsor of the Geno Jones Show, 843 area code. In the Carolinas, you need to buy or sell a home, 843-543-4022, 843-543-4022, double deuces. Thank you, ladies. Have a good evening.
Bye.
Thank you.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Man, that was a great conversation. I really want to thank them all again for coming on. Courtney, my girl, thank you. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life. As always, God bless each and every one of you, and especially you, God, most of all. Thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Show live Monday through Friday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Please subscribe to the channel. screen. You can do a screenshot of the show, grab some of the video, make it go viral. Please, thank you once again. I want to encourage you and put an ask out to continue to financially support Black-owned media platforms like this show, and this platform and my media company is so important. You can Zelle or Cash App your financial contribution, your financial support. No amount is too small or too large. You can Zelle Geno Jones Show. That's how you spell it. No the. Geno Jones Show at Gmail, or Cash App $ Dad G Jones. It's $ capital D, lowercase a, lowercase d, capital G, capital J, lowercase ONES. All right, shout out to Markel Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show. CEO of Designer Cuts here in the Charleston, South Carolina Metro. Check him out on Instagram, on IG. Kel be cutting up, KELBECUTTINUP. Kel be cutting up. Allie Jones, the official wardrobe consultant and stylist for the show. We'll see you live Friday. It's the Weekend Review show. My guest co-host, Miss Christy K-Love Baxter. I was about to say Courtney. Courtney was my co-host tonight. So K-Love returns. My regular Friday guest co-host. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll see you Friday. If you missed any of this episode, go back. You can binge watch this and all my back episodes. And we'll see you live Friday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of The Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.